Welcome to Walking in Circles, a podcast about friendship, creativity, and the lifelong journey of becoming.
For more than 15 years, our group has gathered weekly to play, reflect, laugh, and share life. This season, 5 of us are on a creative pilgrimage, working through Julia Cameron's book, Walking in This World.
Each week, we explore what's bubbling up in our art, in our hearts, and our lives, as we rediscover the creative pulse within and around us.
I'm Chris.
I'm Cameron, and we'd like to invite you to listen in and continue the conversation. Walk with us as we keep learning what it means to be alive, awake, and connected.
We have begun.
Perfect. Yeah, take over since I was gone.
Practicing. Every week someone says it, and then everyone else goes, stop it. That's stop.
It's okay. It's fine. I don't mind.
Good. Thank you. Father Seth, Youth Pastor Seth.
Yeah.
Blessings to you.
Father, youth.
Blessings.
Da.
Off air, we were just following things through the comments in the ether, from the ether down to the real world, the small world that we live in. But as we start off today, you're going to read a little summary here. I just want to comment on the fact that Adam's not joining us, as we missed Seth last week. Mm-hmm. And
we're going to miss him next week, he says.
Yeah.
Sad.
Only some of us are dedicated. So
some of us care.
I have like 3 other podcasts, man. I'm sorry. You guys are at the bottom of the totem pole.
He's doing Dan Koch's next week, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, it's mine now.
Oh, you took it over.
We changed names.
Did you arm wrestle him for it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's not what Adam's doing. I just told him, I just kicked him off for this week.
yeah, for eating.
I'm sick of you.
You're smiling too much.
Get out. Get out.
I told him to skip. He's like, nah,
Popular
bro.
demand.
Yeah.
Off by popular demand.
Oh, okay. Week 7, discovering a sense of momentum. Creativity thrives on small, doable actions. This week dismantles procrastination as a major creative block. The readings and tasks aimed at a sense of personal accountability and accomplishment. The key to a creative life is sustained, consistent, positive action. This is possible for all of us. I was going to do that too.
I know, it's like it's so itchy now.
As I was reading, I was like,
face.
The
no,
nose
don't do it,
itch.
don't do it.
It's contagious.
Can I have that blanket?
absolutely. I'm not cold yet. But
This was my favorite chapter so far.
Was it?
Yeah.
I want
Okay.
We got
exciting.
into it.
Pragmatic for you. Is that why?
It was. You finally
so mocking.
you finally learned something or appreciated something new.
I'm just smoking.
No, it's just that it just felt very true and useful to me. And, I don't know exactly. I don't know why. It just was. A lot of the stuff she says is true, but I think it was something I needed to hear. Maybe more so than the other one so far, for me particularly.
I thought the first section immediately, I thought like simple secrets. It's not, it seems like when she says it, it's not a secret at all. It's simple.
Yeah.
But it is a key to most of the major creative work that I've been, and how I'm writing my creative energy right now is the thing about doing consistently, not doing too much.
Easy
and
does
that
it.
balance.
Yeah.
Just a little ease.
Yep.
A lot of times I started giving myself permission like 2 years ago to, if I had a big project or something I was not doing or not getting started, to give myself permission to just set it up so that whenever I'm ready, I'd be ready to start. And literally and actually allow myself just to set it up. And it makes it so much easier. I found myself looking forward to when am I going to be able to come back to it and actually get into it, get started. And it's kind of that sort of a thing where don't do too much. Yeah. And when I finish something, you finish something, and that's the last part of this chapter, right?
Yeah.
Finish anything. And that is a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's everybody's good feeling, but for me, it's like, yes, finish the thought, finish the conversation, finish the action, anything.
Yep.
But then I have a little high, and so I'm like, I should just finish it all. I should finish a bunch of things. But that measuring of just, that's good. Enough is good.
Kind of store that.
Or if I have a little energy, then it's like, okay, I'll just prep what I'll come back to next time.
Did you say store that? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it. Store it for later.
Yeah.
I was like, I got it now in my hand. It's burning a hole in my pocket. I got to use it up. But it is so helpful to leave the energy there and let it. I don't know why I always say it, like leave yourself a carrot.
Yeah.
So that when you get started, you're excited.
Right.
When you come back to it, you still have a little energy waiting for you. You didn't complete it all.
And it prompts your mind in the times in between if you have little spaces. I find it meeting you, or it's sort of the walking towards you, whereas walking back.
Yeah.
You're walking towards it, it's walking back towards you thing, because I know I'm coming back to it, and then my brain's like, oh, it'd be cool if this happened, or what about this sort of a thing, or this is an idea, you try this sort of a thing. I wonder if you've been doing this. I was going to ask you this last week, Seth, but I wonder if you've been doing, it actually ties into this piece about kind of easygoing and coming back to it and not pushing through to finish something. But I wonder if you've been doing this for a long time, or if you notice yourself doing this, or how you respond to it. And the reason I'm asking you is I remember in junior high when you were in my class, sometimes I'd have a problem with a choreography piece we were working on, or the set piece. I needed something built, and I couldn't figure out how to make it work in the story or something. And I would just tell you the problem, and you would basically say nothing. And the first couple of times I did that, I thought, is he tracking with me? Like, is there anything going on? I learned very quickly. I called you my ideas man at that time, because I would learn to just let it set. Yeah. And it didn't look like you were working on it at all. But like 2 or 3 days later, you come back and be like, I think you could do this, 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 and this. And I'd be like, perfect. Yeah. That works everything out. Yeah. But it was like you just kind of set it aside, or you just heard it and weren't trying to actively work on our problem solve. Whereas I feel sometimes compelled to immediately start to like give feedback or a brainstorm or something like that, which isn't always that helpful. Yeah. So I wonder.
Yeah. I appreciated this week overall, because I think it was present to like stuff I'm going through right now. But like looking back on that, I think that's how I've always acted, not intentionally. It's just like how I just normally operate. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, because like usually like with my schooling right now, I'll write a paper, and well, I'll have a paper assignment that's like 6 pages, 8 pages long, and like a week or two before it's due, I'll look at it, see what it's supposed to be about, and then I'm just like unconsciously processing it, thinking about it, going through it, and then the day it's due, I'll just sit down and write it. Like do all the research and write it.
You sort of set your subconscious on it, and let it do its thing, and bubble some things up. I think that's really smart. But started
not intentionally.
No,
that's how I always wrote my like sermons too, which felt like a bigger deal. Like I'd have the idea that I was gonna do like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, and then like just be thinking about it and processing it, and like, oh, that would be cool to talk about. This verse would be applicable to that, or whatever. And none of it's happening consciously, and I always felt bad doing it that way, because I'm like, when I was writing sermons, it was literally like sometimes it'd be Saturday night at 11 p.m. I'm writing the sermon, or I couldn't do it that night, so I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning, go finish writing it. The day I was like, it wasn't like good as far as like from a procrastination perspective, but like like to get it done. But like, yeah, just having that time to process through
the background.
In the background is like how it's always happened.
Professors in university recommended that you do that with your final. When they'd hand out the syllabus, they would say, look at what the final will be. Yeah. And just don't do anything with it. Just have it be in your subconscious, and then maybe at each quarter look again. Yeah. And then when it comes time to work on it, you'll find that you've been doing some sort of subconscious preparation for it. It's kind of they weren't saying to do all the research and write it the night before.
Maybe the week of.
What field were these professors in? I never had a professor tell me that. I found it on my own, and it.
I think this would have been either lit or philosophy. I can't remember it. Which?
Okay. Nice. Oh, interesting.
And I think they recited. I think it might have been philosophy, or maybe it was even psychology, honestly, because it's sort of the thing a psychologist professor would tell you to do. I can't remember. They had some study. I think they had some study that was saying like it showed that it would help you.
Sure.
I believe it. I believe it because I find the same. I have the inclination to pounce on it with my mind sometimes, because I'm like eager to either get into it or eager to get it off my plate.
Yeah, sure. Sometimes I feel like that's true for me. like I have so much energy on an initial idea, but I don't have like all the details. So it's helpful for me to either be introduced to the topic and wait a little bit and then go for it. But sometimes it's just helpful for me to like get on to it and then write all the thoughts I have about it, kind of maybe outline it, what I think about it. I'll change it at any time, maybe change order or whatever.
Yeah.
But then that's a good starting point. It's just all my thoughts. And then I'm going to be ruminating on those thoughts and then fill in the gaps and the details later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that helpful. I think it's helpful to maybe hold the idea, then do a little bit that you have, if you don't have it all flushed out, and then wait longer. Like I find like my strategy for right now for writing my book and coding games is like I'll do one week and one another week. So I do kind of leave myself a carrot on something where I'm like, oh yeah, I've been successful at this, and I'm ready to go for the next week. But then it kind of switches, and so I start writing, and then I've kind of gotten to a place where I'm like, okay, I've done some more of the story, pushed some more of the story, but I don't have it all right now. And then either the next day or over the weekend, I'm thinking, oh, what about this idea? Or maybe I should be brainstorming this a little bit more, flesh this out, and then I'll build the little pieces together. That's kind of what I'm finding is
And they
helpful.
kind of present themselves to you at the right times too, a little bit. If you're not trying to push and you don't overexert yourself when you're flowing too. I was just thinking that I was trying to rewrite. I was anxious about rewriting my chapter 22nd on the project I'm working on. My 22nd chapter. My chapter 22nd.
Speaking in Spanish.
I am, yeah. But it felt daunting. I'm like, I don't know how the insert I'm writing is going to fit, and I don't know how to get it from the beginning to what's already there. And so sitting down, I was like trying to follow this task for this week, which was to ease into it, do a little bit, just keep doing it consistently, but do a little. What is the phrase she uses?
Easy does it, but do it.
Easy
do it.
but do it. Do it.
But do it.
Exactly. So I'm not going to shy away from doing something on it, but so I just went to chapter 15 and just gave myself permission to read it out loud and make that it came to mind, whatever floated up. And then it flowed right into it. I did all of chapter 22, and it's easy. But if I just tried to start there too, or make myself do it, it wasn't available to me.
Yeah.
This thing I've felt too, like thinking through my process of doing that stuff. Like there were times where like I'd look at what I was going to do 2 weeks ahead or know what I was going to do, and then just like process it in the background. But then like if I tried to like be proactive and start it maybe a week ahead of time, I'd get into it and like struggle so hard to get it done because my brain wasn't ready. Like things were fleshed out. I just wasn't ready to do it. And so it did usually go into like that last day or two or whatever. But like I just had to I had to trust my brain was like just not there. Like I hadn't got there yet.
Interesting.
I have a similar phenomenon that happens. Well, let me say first, the letting your subconscious work on it is a fascinating thing, and I found that to be true a lot of times with computer programming. There'll be something that's like you have like dealing with a problem that's like so hard to figure out, and you might bash your head against it like all day long. It's the most infuriating and like puzzling thing. It's like very complex problem, and you can't solve it. Yeah. And I dozens of times. Does that happen anymore now? Because I'm like mega gigabrain universe, like 5-head super programmer wizard guy. So it doesn't happen to me anymore.
Okay.
But earlier on in my career, this happened, and I'm not joking. Like after it happened 2 times, I knew like, oh, stop working on this. Tomorrow you will know the answer.
Yeah.
Every single time without fail.
Yes.
Not always in the morning. Sometimes at night, I would just like be. It's this, you know,
And it's like, oh, it's so easy.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to think of it.
Yeah.
So your brain's doing something, you know, and sometimes just whatever that mechanism, I don't know. It's got what it needs. So just let it work on it.
I think there's like a confidence that gently feeds it too.
Yeah.
That it will come.
Yeah.
It's not. And I think she references this in the middle section, actually. This idea, she had us say something to ourselves like, I have good ideas.
I do have good ideas.
I have enough good ideas.
Yeah. You're pretty good. I do have good ideas. I have many good ideas. Slowly and gently, one at a time, I can execute them.
And that's
really good.
really key. That slowly and gently, one at a time. the other thing she's right about, I think, is a lot of times we think we have nothing, or we're afraid we're going to have nothing. And sometimes that energy is because we have too much.
Yeah.
I have 1,000 ways I could do it, and
Yeah.
it can get frozen by that, and I don't know which one to start or which one's better,
Yeah.
or what to prioritize, or any of those sort of things. And if you just gently start with one thing,
Yeah. I don't know if this is the case for you or not, but I think a lot of people do work better with a little bit of a deadline, and in general, create art or any other kind of thing with parameters.
For sure.
Because a lack of restriction makes the domain too large and daunting.
Yeah.
I know that if I have all the time in the world to do a thing, I want to chase every rabbit trail and like just probe every potential, and like it just, you get like, I don't know, it gets kind of stale.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you get right down to it and you're like, actually move it forward. Because she's not saying like don't force it. So I just like generally avoid like a coercive attitude at all.
Right.
Like be a midwife to it. Like, but don't like let it just do nothing. Like cultivate it. Like let it come along gently.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a pattern in the world that makes sense pretty much everywhere. And so it makes sense that it would make sense. I mean, that would work also for like your own.
relationally.
Yeah.
It's good. There's an analogy like let it flow by you, let the river flow, or join the river, because the river is going to find the easiest way to go about it. It's the path of least resistance in a way.
Yeah, and I love how Richard Rohr says, we must not push the river.
Push the river. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And it's like, that is what we're doing a lot of times. It's just push. It's so fruitless, and it's so exhausting.
Yeah. That's true.
This is the thing we do. I did want to jump back to say two things about your first thought, Seth. First, really sad to have missed the era in which you gave sermons and not have ever heard that. I think for men's group sometime we should have you just give us a sermon on any topic.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I'll just give you the recordings from that time.
No,
I want to be here for it. That could be your side, your whatever.
Oh yeah.
For Seth.
Yeah, that would be great.
Monthly sermons. Oh god.
And my second thing is a real question. We're talking about the dynamic of how this works. And of course, I think there's something to tease out still about the procrastination element. How do we marry the two so that we aren't... Because then there's the stress of that and the anxiety and the cortisol flood of, I am not prepared when I could have been prepared.
Yeah.
I remember... I'm going to get to my part two because I have a question for you in it. Yeah. But when I was speaking more at camps and things, I would have talks. And if I knew I was going to be at camp, I knew I'd give 5 or 6 talks. I would have 5 or 6 days in a notebook, maybe 8 months in advance. And I would sit down and come sort of line out the titles for each of them. And then just throughout the year, anything that came to mind whenever I revisit them. So it's sort of like the subconscious thing, but it was over the course of the whole year. I'd fill it up. But also, it was like, I don't know if it was useful or if it wasn't useful. I think it was. I had a page full of stuff, all kinds of stories I wanted to share and things by the time I got there. But then there's this performance element of giving a talk or a sermon. Yeah. Where you're with actual people. It's not like the book I'm writing where I'll draft it and rewrite it 1,000 times and make it better every time. Yeah. I'm going to present it. And in a talk, in a sermon, also you don't want to just sit there and read and the Lord said, like it's no one likes that. Yeah. So I was also compelled by this, I think, value, visible or invisible, to be present to the group I was with. And so I find myself, as I respond to one thing, going off in a whole tangent in the whole thing. Yeah. And I would only use like 30% of the content of what I had prepared for the course of the whole year. And so then I was like, I don't know. I think it was useful because it was me organizing my thoughts and bringing something, and I had something prepared, but also I couldn't get myself to like really commit to it when I was in front of people. So I wondered if that's different from a sermon, or did you more kind of script it out the night before? And then my second question is not related at all, but that whole concept of like taking something and working on it in the background and not responding to it for a couple of days. How does that work with like Brooke and marriage? And was she ever like, hello? Yeah. Do you hear me? I like hear that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think in some way, so to answer your question, early on, it took us a while to learn that was the way I functioned, and for her to be okay with that, and also to push me to actually process things instead of just let them sit forever.
Checking in.
Yeah, because I did do that. I think sometimes I used that as like no, I'm just thinking about it and processing it, and then I don't actually do anything with it. So that definitely happened. But yeah, there was definitely that time of like, she got frustrated with certain things where, like, especially with like if we're having a conversation sometimes, like I don't always respond to her, even though like I'm really invested in what she's saying and listening. And like usually what happens is like she'll say something and like I'm thinking about it and like going down this lane and that lane thinking.
You've already taken it into your world and you are like
but to her I'm just
interacting with it.
Sitting there like that, just like glossy eyed, and she's like, okay, I guess he doesn't care about this, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, to answer your question, yes.
And you called me a robot.
Yeah. Let's see, where was I? The sermon question was
the sermon, and whether did you script it out, and if so, could you stay committed to the script that you wrote?
I 100% opposite of you on that.
Okay.
I can't like. So when I was working with Bill, he was the senior pastor. He was also my speech professor, I guess, or teacher at Summit.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's where I met him, and that whole thing happened. But some of the sermons and things that
sounds very dramatic.
Yeah, yeah. No, some of the things I was like learning. I was also like working through a speech with him, so like I was helping learn. So he was always pushing me to like, because he would have a note card in his Bible with bullet points, and he would just go for 2 hours on that, you know.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do that, so I pushed myself to like get to that point, and I did that a couple of times, but. Like my sermons were always much shorter. So like if I needed to fill a time gap, which he always wanted me to fill a time gap for, even though I didn't have anything to say, you know, it's like.
What does that mean? Oh, you had to speak for 45 minutes?
Sermon had to be 45 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
But mine were usually 20 to 30.
And you had to fill it?
But I had to fill it.
I hate that so much. I hate that so
Doesn't matter if you have
much.
something to say or not, you got to say something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, people come here once a week for 2 hours and we need to like feed them full of something, you know. I was like, oh my gosh,
full of shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you
Manufacture
don't have
something.
anything to give them at that time.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. If
I mean,
you don't have anything.
I know
You gave them
that
is-
idea doesn't originate with him. It's out there.
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
people say it,
It's
but
just in
it's
the
just
air
a
of
bad idea.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Really.
Yeah. So anyway,
Also,
there's
it's not connected to reality. There's no one sitting in the congregation going, he darn better get to 45.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, there are two people.
there's some, yeah. Anyway, so I tried to do like the note card thing and like usually just end it in a shorter sermon. So like to get to fill that time or whatever, or like a school assignment requirement of a 45-minute speech, like I had to write things out, you know, and like I
Read
had to
it at a
have
certain
whatever
pace.
it was, like 20 pages for 45 minutes or something like that, whatever it was. I had to have that many. And then it was pretty verbatim, like what I wrote is what I said, and I was reading it. But like I tried my best, like as I was learning to do it, like I got better at like not just sitting there reading it. That's how I was at the beginning, but as it progressed, I got better at like engaging a little bit. And like I remember too, though, like with like some of the adults that had kids in youth group, they always said that like my kids always tell me that they can listen to you better than Bill, or like they get more out of the sermon from listening to you than listening to Bill, which is like partly just a generational thing, I'm sure, but also just
You're
like,
just wiser and way better.
well, yeah, you know, a 20-year-old college student, and a 50-year-old senior pastor that have been
Who
doing
they
it
have
for 30 years.
relationship with
Yeah.
and believe cares about them.
And you're better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What were you? How were you
like-
gonna finish that thought?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
But he said it too. He's like, or the dad. I'm thinking this one instance.
I think you said Bill said it too.
Yeah, no, the dad of the kids. He's like, and I do too. Like, I can follow your thought process, and like, even like with like discussion boards and stuff. Like, and Brooke has said this too. Like, if I'm talking about something that's like inside baseball thing for counseling, like in my discussion board, Brooke can read it and like understand it. Read what I've written and understand what I'm talking about. But if she read somebody else, like it wasn't, she didn't click with it. And like other students have like commented that I don't know if that's just like I'm not good at the technical language, but just like maybe it's just me processing it, and how I process it puts it into like a more common vernacular or whatever it is. But
I mean, I would guess, I'm going to venture a guess here. I'm not in any of your forums, but I would guess, having been in many of those types of forums and things, that probably the difference is that you're doing what you said when Brooke gave you something, you're interacting with it already. So you're reading something and you're connecting it to your life, situations that you know, that kind of thing. And a lot of students are just regurgitating stuff to try and meet a prompt. So it doesn't make as much sense, even if they're using terminology or whatever. But or they're not making the connections to like actual experience or lives. So I'm not trying to. I don't want you to feel too good about yourself. But
no, it happened. I'm already there. I'm like, sorry.
Just kidding. No, I do want you to. I think it's probably because not because you can't use the vernacular, but because you're actually connecting the ideas to something that.
And you're genuinely engaging them. I think that as a person, you're sincere. You're not like doing a thing. You're genuine. So the way that you say it is a way that you are connecting with it, which I think is just another helpful step for other people to be able to connect to it as well. Somebody who thinks they need to say stuff at people for 5 minutes is going to say stuff people can't connect with a lot of times. I just feel like that's
right.
That's so funny.
That's true. It's the nature of the assignment.
Oh, go ahead.
Mine's not as good.
Well, just the two of you are no.
That's important. We prioritize.
I'll remember at the end.
I'll remember.
There's something about what you said and that you said. It's interesting that you both kind of go about it two different ways. I don't know exactly where I would even go. Like I would need a lot of practice to be able to read and still feel like I'm not just dead. For me, it's got to be a little bit more alive. But I would be really uncomfortable just freewheeling unless I was super familiar with the material. And what you said about maybe collecting the stuff and you don't know if it helped you or not. I think it definitely helped you. I think a lot of those sort of things.
I don't know if it helped my talk. I know it helped me.
Well, I think it definitely helped your talk. It's impossible to say, and I think there's a lot of things like that in life where the influence of whatever we did is so hard to see that it's tempting to think like it didn't do anything, but it 100% did. And I just believe that. I just have to believe that kind of out of faith and on principle, but just like whenever, for me, and I think that because, I'm not sure why I think that, but one reason that maybe that's true that I can see is that when I'm trying to round out my vision on something or round out my understanding, because like for me, if I'm going to be able to talk about it really, I want to feel like I have an internal authority about it. Otherwise it just sounds like I'm like blowing smoke up your ass or just making stuff up and trying to sound smart or whatever. I hate that feeling when I hear it from other people, and I hate to feel that when I'm saying it, because you can feel it. You're like, I want to feel like, this is alive in me enough. I'm sharing from a living well, not that I'm regurgitating something I've heard somewhere else or trying to smell. So for me to do that, I have to build thoughts come to me, connections come to me, and they're not necessarily like coherent or like whatever.
Complete,
they come into a cloud, and then usually at some point, I either have a actual process, like a technical process of kind of writing them down and sort of drawing lines between them, trying to make them into a coherent thread, or I become more familiar enough with them that I do just develop the mastery of that vocabulary and of that like analogy, if that makes sense. Like if you talk about them enough, like a lot of the concepts that I was wrestling with a year ago, we've now talked about so many times. I could have a spirited conversation about them like at will. And so I'm trying to build that, and all the things that go into that sort of like familiarity with the material are like hugely intangible a lot of the times. You're making some sort of like neural connections, conceptual connections, just gaining familiarity with the idea. Even if it doesn't come out, like you don't think it comes out, like everything's so connected with everything. Like I have to believe that you just broadly start gaining like broad familiarity with anything. Bolsters all of your familiar with everything else around it.
That's right. That is everything belongs. It's all connected. Also, doing this podcasting and reading the transcript as I'm editing and that kind of thing is really interesting, because it allows some self-reflection that I normally wouldn't watch myself and do these things and listen to what I'm saying. And I am so irritated every time at how many of my sentences are incomplete. I start an idea and everyone we all just kind of run with it. But I mean, I run to the next idea. It's like I just throw out enough that I feel like everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
And then I go on to the next thing, but I don't complete actual sentences very often.
That's because you
You feel like
respect
you-
your listeners.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because you're actually really good at, and you're good, you're better.
No. But I think that's an interesting thing. And I think it probably, back to the talk versus sermon thing.
Yeah.
I was always doing that. Every once in a while, I would listen to one of my talks and I would have the same irritation. And then I think it connected to the fact that I'd have in a camp of 100 or 200 people, I would have all these people come up to me after the same talk and say, I loved it that you spoke on this, or I loved what you said was about this. And I go, did I? I never did. Like I so many times, and they were so disparate in their thoughts and ideas about what the theme of my talk was. And I was always interested to see whoever the sound man was, whatever they titled my talk. And it never was like anything that I thought was important. But I do think, so when we started this the first week, I don't remember something that she said. I think she gave us a task to go out and sit or something for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There was a task to do nothing or something. And I went out and sat in the yard. And I had this moment. Do you remember that little book called, I think it's 7 Lessons in Physics or something like this? Yeah. I love that book, actually. Yeah. And I need to reread it because I think about it and quote it sometimes, and I have no idea what it actually said because I've recreated it in my mind. But it's been too many years.
Me too.
But I sat out there and I just watched the grass and the trees and looked down the street as far as I could see and whatever I could see, probably for 35 minutes without doing anything else. It was just like the perfect weather and none of my kids were home or anything, so I could do it.
Yeah.
And the thing that actually happened, I think is really interesting, and I think is connected to what we're saying here, is all of it was beautiful. Everything I saw was amazing, but the thing that stood out to me was this idea that I've wrestled with, this idea of cataphatic and apophatic. Sometimes the positive image and then the negative image of something is sort of an art negative, not like a negative as in bad or immoral, but the positive image if you draw it, or the shapes around it and how you can see something. That whole concept has been really interesting to me for a while. But I was watching and noticed how clearly we have the picket fence out here. And it's weathered enough that there are little gaps, tiny gaps. They range from probably 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. Some of them maybe maybe 1/4 of an inch. I don't know if any of them are that wide. They're very small. But every pickup that drove by, everything that drove by, I could see perfectly. I knew the color, I knew the make, I knew the model, I knew who was in it.
Yeah.
I thought so interesting about that experience. And even now, I couldn't see the house across the street through the fence.
Yeah.
Because it's not moving. But there's something about that movement. That's what connected to me. And that first time she said movement attracts attention, attracts energy. Energy attracts energy, that kind of thing. And I was watching that. And even a guy riding by on his bike, I could see what his shirt was, what he was wearing, all this. And to think about it, I was like, 97% of what I'm seeing is non-image. And yet my mind could construct it from that 3% really well, really clearly. And that whole phenomenon was super fascinating. And I started looking for that various places. And to me, I just thought back to that little book, the 7 Lessons in Physics, whatever that thing is. He talked about beginning to see that the universe is made of dotted lines rather than solid lines, and that there's actually more space in our bodies than there is solid. Like the distance between atoms, the things that connect us, there's more space than there actually is like matter in all that we encounter. And I think that that's partly what happens in conversations too. And that's why it doesn't matter so much if I don't finish my sentences, or if we don't do if we aren't always linear. Because anytime you're giving a sermon, you give a little snippet, and just like you with Brooke, you're off. Everyone listening is connected to something, and they're in their world with it. They've taken it and developed it. They're going to be experiencing it with dotted lines no matter what. Even if you have a perfectly linear trajectory and you follow it through and execute from start to finish, they heard the first 5 words, and then their imagination is on to whatever the thing is that they connected with. So there's all these spaces in between. And so it's like everything really is like a dotted line. Yeah. And so when we're talking in dotted lines, as long as there's enough connection to like spark that conversation or that thought or the imagination, I think it's about that interaction. It's about those atoms exciting one another, and that conversation and the dialogue and the give and take. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyway. Were you going to say something? You were going to say something.
This is so anticlimactic. It's not as good as yours. I'm just gonna keep qualifying. No,
People will vote later. I also feel like Adam now. I've had like 7 sips of this, and I'm gonna be, because Adam's not here, I'm gonna be drinking too.
Oh, I was just curious because we're talking about you used to write down more like solid details of your sermons, and you kind of had some ideas and then kind of went to the flow state or whatever, just whatever came across your brain and you
Or
interacted
wandering, meandering, meeting
Yeah.
in this state.
and it's easier when you connect with it, like we're talking about, for people, for if you connect with it, if I connect with it, you're going to connect with it more. And if I tell it in such a way, that's going to connect with you more. And I was thinking about that in writing and wanting to go back to some of the papers I wrote in college, because I kind of had like my senior year of high school, did the college composition and stuff, and you do the outline, you do it all in those steps so that it's simple and small parts to write, and that's good. And I did most of my college papers like that. I felt like it was like always a research paper. It was always factual, and I got pretty good grades on them. But when I went more into like what my opinions and used some of my research to like facilitate that idea, which is actually what the professors wanted me to do, I got worse grades. I'm like, what the frick? And so I'm just curious, if I went back and read those papers, would I connect more with the papers I got good grades with, or the papers that I felt connected to as I wrote them? I would assume the latter, but I don't know. And I'm just curious.
Wait, so you're saying the ones that you connected with, you got worse grades on?
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that was because of my writing, and maybe it's less coherent as I say it or as I think
Because the
about
ideas
it.
are spilling out.
Yeah. Or if it was a little bit of a, this isn't quite the right theology or whatever, because most of it happened in those classes. That's the only time I had to write
Like
as a STEM student.
Questioning how that kind of a
There's
thing.
probably both. Honestly, people tend to say in school frequently, like, say your thing. That's not the right thing.
Yeah.
But also, I do think it's harder to wrangle creative or conceptual ideas than it is to wrangle facts.
Yeah. That's true.
And so it's a larger undertaking, and it requires more practice. To
Yeah.
decide.
If I used the same amount of thought for something that I didn't connect with as something I did, maybe it didn't have the same kind of flow or the smoothness.
Sure.
Or
And if you're taking on a big idea in a small paper, that's harder to capture too.
that's true. Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, papers aren't the most communicative of shared enthusiasm.
It's that lowest form of meaning. They're very like physical.
Yeah, it's just
lame.
only the words conceptual. Like, because we're human, we have like mirror neurons.
There's no
If I
dynamism
see
to
you
it.
excited, I feel something. If I read the same words you just said, but on paper, and I don't see your face, I'm not going to have the same emotional reaction.
Yeah,
to it.
that's true.
So,
Yeah.
That kind of goes into a thought I had about what you were saying, and it's going into like a little bit of religion stuff, but like I think of the Jewish tradition and how they think of scripture, and how like in like evangelical circles, it's like word for word, this is what they said, this is what they mean. 2,000 years later, we can know what they said and what they meant, even though like something I wrote last week, you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't get the meaning of what I was trying to write.
but it wasn't written by God.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't
Good
remember what
story
I
about
meant
that.
with my own letters from
Exactly.
when I was 17. But
Yeah. So like, but that idea of like the Jewish tradition of debating things and like everyone has their perspective of what was said. It's like everyone's got this 1/8 of an inch glimpse of what that was, or the 16th inch of that part of it, you know, and they may be seeing the same parts of something, but they're like putting it together, and like some things will disagree, and you'll come to different points for sure. But like that's just true to the human experience and what we do now in today anyways, just naturally in conversation, but we try to force onto like the Bible or like
any
history or
text
whatever.
or narrative, or even the lack of commitment from our perspective now to a linear storytelling arc is like we're in circles. I always used to read, even Jesus in the New Testament would tell multiple parables, and he would say, and I tell you again. And I was so confused by that as a kid. I'm like, tell you again, you were saying the kingdom of heaven is a pearl. Now it's, a treasure hidden in a field. Now it's a mustard seed. What do you mean I tell you again? But it's a different story that's maybe not linear. It's kind of circular, and you're just kind of dancing around the same sort of idea,
Yeah.
which comes back. I want to hear you guys' episode on the Trinity, that interview thing, because I think there's a perichoresis element in there. It's this movement around something in relationship to another body of some sort.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I did post the first
What's really cool? Your interview?
short. Well, I think that that's part of it, but it's not in those words really.
Oh yeah.
And the short clip I posted about it,
Wait, you posted a clip from the second?
yeah, I did.
Oh,
So it's a teaser, and it doesn't make sense because you don't have the context.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
thought
like
it was going to be
interesting.
highly viral. Like that's one of the most incoherent segments that we had in the entire.
You missed right before how we like totally explained it, and then all after where it's connected.
Well, you can
So-
pull those in when you edit. You could pull the part where I often find with those,
Yeah.
I need the sentence. AI doesn't get. It gives me a section to hone in on, but I need to get 2 sentences before and a paragraph after.
Yeah. Well, it was only my second one, so like a noob, I did record this time.
It's an
and
honest,
get it-
it's an
good.
honest representation of I think
yeah.
what you'll get if you listen to the full episode.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the full episode's much more coherent.
Yeah,
than
right.
I'm gonna go listen to it right now.
What were you saying a second ago before? What were you saying?
Perichoresis movement.
No, Seth was saying
Scripture.
scripture.
Oh yeah,
debating.
this is not. I don't
The
want to get us off topic too far, but it's even worse than the stagnant. It's like sometimes the literalist way of reading it doesn't even let it be a story arc.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just static.
It's telling
It was
you
as
facts.
true what they were saying at the beginning and what they believed and what we thought about God and everything was as true and the same and unchanging at the beginning as it was at the end of the story. There's no story.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's like that
Headline,
they
there
said
is
this.
no story.
They said this in ancient Israel, and then they said the same exact thing again 2,000 years later.
It's true.
And it was always true. And if
never
that one
changed.
and
It
that
will
one
be
conflict,
true
then you misunderstand
in
because there's
20,000
no
years from
change
now.
or any like story arc or narrative or unfolding or like revelation or anything. I hate that.
Makes no sense because
Yep.
if the Bible in the theology is the roadmap to your life, how is that supposed to work? It was written 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, user
and
manual.
it's like in a
Nonsense.
literally a different language, and the
Multiple.
way it's given is a different language, and you have to be able to interpret it.
Is
some
a
point.
way of reading it if you want to. I think it's a kind of dumb way, but it's fine to have multiple.
It's
We have to acknowledge that it's a way I'm choosing to see this rather
like
than
25% as applicable though, as more of a dynamic reading of it.
no. I'm just kidding.
Less?
I don't know.
Way less.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make it apply. I'd say that
Sure.
you become
You can reinterpret.
Yeah, you're just gonna add like
Dualistic.
the opposite of what it was saying.
Well, this is what we do all the time, and this is certainly what we did in fundamentalism. where the versions that I've come from in some stages, and I say we because it's my people.
yeah.
But we do. What did you just say? we do.
I said a lot.
We can make it fit.
We
what
make
we
it.
want,
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, we're always saying that we're redefining things.
Oh yeah.
Death means this. Eternal means this.
Yep. Yeah.
Not actually what the word means, even in our own language.
Yeah.
When we translate it to English to try and find something that accommodated
Yeah.
the original language, but now we have to redefine it according to our.
I don't redefine it. That's just how you do heresies. God said it. I believe it. That settles it. Okay, we're getting off topic here. There's some more in this chapter that I wanted to talk about.
Okay,
that I
go for
liked.
it.
Yeah.
So
Which
we
part?
talked
You have
about.
10
So first of all, easy. Are we really actually almost done?
No.
Okay.
Good.
Easy does it. That resonates with me. The next
Do
chapter.
it.
Yeah, but do it. Yep. And I like that because I'm a person who like has. I feel the log jam.
Yeah.
Honestly, I couldn't resist. Like my brain always kept going back to constipation. She was much more graceful about her log jam thing, but I'm like sometimes you need a little bit of like. What do they do with babies?
Yeah.
The constitution like they put like a little worm something on their butthole and it makes like them
Relax.
Never.
relax.
They put a straw up their butt.
Well, there's more extreme things.
This
but-
actually goes back to something you said earlier. I want to come back to. I don't know if this is the right time.
well, now I have to know what what that goes back to.
I've been trying not to giggle every time I think of it.
What?
Why are you so exasperated? You said something to Seth about not wanting to blow smoke up his butt.
Yeah.
And I find that to be the weirdest idiom. Like, I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt, because that's what everyone wants. Who wants this? I don't understand.
Is that the actual idiom? Was I saying it right?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so.
It is.
Yeah.
What did it come from?
I-
It's got some origin that probably makes a little sense. I don't know, but
I don't
yeah.
know, but it makes no sense. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find it. I'll do that as homework this weekend. Back to
Anyway,
the baby
so
spot.
yeah, I like sometimes it would feel so good to just, you don't have to push, you don't have to birth the whole baby at once. You can let a little bit come out at a time. Anyway, the next section. Can you
Yes.
read the next
Breakthrough.
section heading?
breakthroughs, I think is
Breakthroughs. I think that she was
Oh, yeah.
really, what she said is really true about that
yeah.
too. That
That's
strobing effect, that she says this in sort of like terms I can relate with. It's what did she say? There's a lack of continuity, non-continuous. It's jarring because you see it brightly for you didn't see it, you see it brightly, you don't see it.
Yeah.
It just comes out of nowhere. And I think that's been my experience of a lot of like aha moments. They're very just jarring.
Yeah.
She said something
She also
else
said
that I
it
like.
feels like a breakthrough can feel like a breakdown. And I think
Yeah.
that's true too, because it's disorienting. Like you said, you see it out of the darkness in this bright light, the strobe effect, and then it's gone and it's back and it's gone. And that jarring can make you feel totally disoriented. Like, am I
Crazy
seizing?
or-
Am I
Yeah.
losing my mind? Or is this like a good thing?
It's you, and then it goes back to the resizing section in chapter 2. It's like, okay, so is this something real? I'm trying to bounce the ideas off something I know already, and doesn't really fit in my container.
Yeah.
Am I
crazy?
all there?
I'm exuberant today, and then the next day, what was I
Who
thinking?
knows? Yeah, like what? Am I supposed to do that every day? Can I do that every day? Yeah. But you don't need to try, is what she said.
No, yeah, that's right.
Let it go, let it happen, and then do it when it's there.
Even just describing the nature of it, is that what you're saying? It is. Why did you resonate with that?
I thought it was true.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I guess
I love this chapter so much. It's just like
I know
true.
actually that you're saying that. It's so funny because as I was reading it, I said, Stephanie, this is my favorite chapter so far. And then I said, I'm going to say that to the group. And I thought, they're going to ask me what I liked about it. And then I'm going to say, I don't even remember what it said.
Yeah.
Actually, because I had to like go back and I was like making notes, like, what did it say? I remember the whole time she was saying, I was like, yeah.
It is like that.
Yeah. And I felt like that. I don't even know what the connection really was from the Easy Does It too. Like breakthroughs feel like strobing effects, like honestly, but I just do think that in life, when you do have like I've said this a lot of times, I think I like it because it's exciting and scary, but also really, really powerful and good. Essentially you have like this paradigm, right? Everyone has a paradigm, and especially like when it's an like less mature paradigm, it's something you're really unaware that you have. It's like pre-reflective, and that's like the terminology they always use in like college. It's a pre-reflective assumption about the what is just true about the world. It's like the material, like I was thinking about the Truman Show. Did you ever see the Truman Show with Jim Carrey? You know, that's the sky. That's where it is. Like, but it's actually just a wall. You know, at one point he opens a door and it goes into like the real world. Like, you know, that happens to us as we grow and transform and enlarge and unfold. And for me, at each point when I've it's a slow process sometimes, but sometimes it falls off in great chunks. Like a wall falls down.
Yeah.
And it doesn't usually, for me at least, happen like in one moment. It's like a process, like a rumbling you can feel in the ground. There's like vases are falling off of shelves, and then like 2 or 3 days later, like a wall falls over. But the experience is very much like your world for a second just goes wow, 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 and you saw more than you thought was possible. For just a second, you can't hold it in your brain. You can't really even process what it means on an information level, but just on an experience level, you think, what was that?
Yeah. And it takes a while to acclimate to it and like
Or see it
rediscover it.
Yeah, to see what. Yeah, for it to happen again, for you to
it's like you shook off all those layers, and then you can't pay attention to it, but over time you're looking around and finding, oh yeah, that's true. I believe that. I can do that. I have been doing that.
Yeah, it's like, for me, it's a fundamental shift in the way you see and understand the world, which means a fundamental shift in what you think about yourself, about your environment, about meaning. Those are and she talks about those things. Those are having a shift or a breakthrough in those areas can be very disorienting.
Yeah. I think what's really poignant to me or equally poignant to me about the strobe effect image is that it's black in between.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of is the ground and abyss, the chaos and order, and it just flashes. You have this thing that just your senses are capturing,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's black, and so then you hold it.
Yeah.
Where sometimes when we're in daylight and things keep moving, we miss those things.
Yeah.
But there's something that happens that does give you that effect, and then right after it's almost like a withdrawal. That's a graceful withdrawal. It's full of grace because it allows you to hold it for a second, whereas you might not see it, you might miss it, you may just move on. We don't capture it in a sort of way.
Yeah.
But when you're saying, because it's true, I think sometimes it is like it's like something that you've seen moving in the mist or something but when someone says it, it does. What is it that feels good about them saying something that's true? There's a clarity, there's like a reinforcement. And if you're asking the question, am I crazy? Do other people's experience it in a certain way? There's something about a resonance that, oh yeah, this is the way of the universe that feels like, okay, then I can partner with it instead of be terrified by it. Or I don't know.
There's some sort of connection.
Something about that feels good.
I feel like some part of it on some level, there's like some lower level circuitry that's the same sort of exhilaration you might get from a very powerful resource discovery. Like I'm just thinking like a monkey, you know. This is really super dumb, but like just imagine you're not evolved into a higher cognitive human. You're just a monkey or whatever.
Imagine.
And you discover
Everyone look at me. Okay.
No, but just imagine you discover a brand new like thing. There was a cave you went through on the other side. There was a forest full of fucking berries over there. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Only, but now we live on a not that plane. It's like it's a meta plane above that plane. It's like your whole world is like, but I think you still get the same hit. It can be a terrifying hit, but the same hit off of the discovery of new possibly valuable information.
Sure.
Yeah.
It alters your reality.
It totally does. And
we need our realities to be altered.
So, and sometimes we're not ready for it, and that's why there's a whole.
I don't think
a lot
we're
of time
ever
when we're not
ready for it.
Well, I think that it can be a beautiful and liberating thing. It can also be a destructive,
Terrifying.
destroying thing if you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
And so I think we do have a cognitive ability sometimes to limit our ability to
accept
it
and
or see it
receive.
because we're not ready for it. So people
Experience it,
generally
yeah.
see what they're ready to see. But when you're ready for it, ready as ready enough that it doesn't destroy you is what I mean. Not that you take it in stride.
Right. And sometimes we can be hungry for it, I guess.
Yeah.
The opposite of what I just said, because the opposite is also true.
Yeah.
But I do think there are times when I've had those. I've also had moments when I could have had that same flashbulb and it didn't flash.
Yeah.
And I realized later, oh, this thought I heard from Justin Hegum. I heard this from Mr. Mohammed. Matt Mohammed's dad. Dave dad. Shasta CFO driving me home, and it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. I'm speaking about something specific to me, but thoughts I had about like the universe and God. I wasn't ready to. It didn't flash for me, but I can remember people. I must have connected because I remember those conversations.
Yeah,
with people somewhere. It landed back somewhere and was part of the preparation. That goes back to what you were saying about is it.
Did it help you?
Did it help me?
It did.
It did.
Yeah.
But I don't. And then all of a sudden, it's just like boom, all the things connected. Maybe they were all wired up, and then someone flipped on the electricity, and all of a sudden, it was running everywhere, and the lights were on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, we have to stop because we're losing your camera.
No.
Or else that's gonna be in the
that.
darkness.
Nice.
Oh no.
Anyone have any?
Yeah.
You have to scoot over and sit on Brett's lap for the rest of the
I'm game.
We're all of you
I'm
out
okay.
We're
good.
You'd rather wrap it up.
Tomorrow he's going to come
If
back and
have
say,
any
you know what,
thoughts-
I actually decided that we should do that.
I just need some time to process. Subconsciously. To know I
I'm
wanted it.
here to sit on Brett's lap. We'll still allow.
Tomorrow he'll know exactly what he's supposed to say to me verbatim.
Right.
That is true.
Actually, does anybody have anything burning that you want to say before we wrap up? Okay, as always, thank you for taking some time and having a conversation. And may it be multiplied to you in many more good conversations.
Mm-hmm.